Hello, all, and welcome to episode 2 of the 21 Yard Line podcast. I'm your host, Max Mustaine, here with.
Om Patel.
And Vamsi Vimana.
Today, we will be covering Week 12 NFL football. We're going to start you guys off with a quick rundown of this week's scores. Take it away, Om.
Thanksgiving Day football. Texans win 41-25 over the Lions. Deshaun Watson looked incredible. After this game, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn were both fired from the Lions organization. Washington versus Dallas. Washington takes this 41-16. Antonio Gibson, big day. Washington defense comes up big. Washington is now first place in the NFC East. On Sunday, Falcons surprisingly beat the Raiders 43-6. Defense looked great. Raiders, we thought they were playoff contenders. We don't know now. Vikings 28, Panthers 27. Last second field goal miss from the Carolina Panthers cost them the game. Vikings are still in the playoff race. Patriots 20, Cardinals 17. Patriots beat the Cardinals. Just a surprising upset. Browns 27, Jaguars 25. Jaguars fight back, but they cannot win against the Browns. Giants 19, Bengals 17. Joe Burrow gone, but still a very tough fight from the Bengals. Giants still take the win, still in the NFC East playoff race. Titans 45, Colts 26. King Henry reclaims his throne, and he has 3 touchdowns in the first half. Big day from him. Bills 27, Chargers 17. Chargers looked awful today. Bills didn't look great either, but they still got it done. Dolphins 20, Jets 3. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets the start over Tua, who was hurt. Gets the job done. They beat the Jets. Jets are still winless. Saints 31, Broncos 3. Didn't have a quarterback for the Broncos. 1 for 9, 2 interceptions, 13 yards. Not a great day. Saints get it done. 49ers 23, Rams 20. 49ers upset the Rams off of a game-winning Robbie Gould field goal. That was weird to say. And they upset the Rams, still in the playoff race. Chiefs 27, Buccaneers 24. Big day for Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Conservative play calling does get the Okay. A conservative play calling does make it a close game, 3-point game, but Chiefs hold off the Buccaneers. Sunday Night Football, Bears at the Packers, 25-41 loss for the Bears. Aaron Rodgers looked great. Mitchell Trubisky gets the start. Didn't do so well. And finally, the Seahawks at the Philadelphia Eagles. Surprisingly close. Seahawks defense did have to do a lot to get this win, but the Seahawks do come out on top.
All right, moving on to the injury report. Carolina Panthers receiver DJ Moore suffered an ankle injury late in their loss to the Vikings. X-rays came back negative for the ankle, and with their Week 13 bye, he's considered questionable for Week 14. Denver Broncos running back Philip Lindsay suffered a knee injury and was ruled out against the Saints. Another running back, Minnesota Vikings Dalvin Cook, has a left ankle sprain, and he exited briefly with an ankle injury, but was able to return and finish the game. He is day-to-day for next week. Buffalo Bills QB Josh Allen has what looks to be a right knee MCL sprain. Allen is most likely to be able to play through this injury given his position at QB, but he is also day-to-day. Another running back, Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, right ankle sprain. There are some rumors that he posted on Instagram in a walking boot, but I can't validate those. He is questionable. New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones exited early against the Bengals in a hamstring injury. New York is optimistic Jones will be able to play through the injury and play next Sunday. Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Willie Snead has tested positive yesterday for COVID-19, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported. His positive test marks the 8th consecutive day Baltimore has had a positive test, joining Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and a couple of offensive linemen. However, with this game being postponed to Wednesday, J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram can both they're both eligible to play, and they just had to test negative. All right, moving on.
Next, we're going to move on, and I'm going to talk a little bit about fantasy football. The playoffs are coming up in just 2 weeks here, and, money on the line. There's a lot of stuff. So who should you be worried about in the playoffs? The guys that maybe could cost you some money. So we'll start off with some running backs. So there's some similar situations for both Chris Carson and Aaron Jones. They're from playoff bound teams who are not quite in reach of the number one overall seed, and they're both coming off of injury. So the Packers and Seahawks have both shown that they are using their star running backs sparingly upon return to keep them healthy for the playoffs. And while both running backs are must starts, you still should keep an eye out. Another running back is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. His production has been way down recently, and he's now a touchdown reliant player just to meet his floor. The Chiefs are a heavily passing attack, and often drives consist of just a few long passes, which take away from the running game. Due to his use in the red zone, he can still be a starter, but some players I would bench Clyde for would be DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, and Josh Jacobs. I would start those guys over Clyde. One player who's also worrisome is Ronald Jones. The Buccaneers have an unpredictable offense. They seem to run a different offense every week. And I'd have a hard time playing Ronald Jones at all. But I guess you could look for him at flex in deep leagues. Moving on to wide receivers, there's two similar situations for NFC West teams, both Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Lockett and Metcalf. It's tough because the teams are in the same situation, and I think Kupp and Woods can both consistently do good, more consistently together, but the upside for Metcalf and Lockett is much higher too. The best definitely starts are Metcalf and Kupp, and then Woods and Lockett are still starters, but you can maybe get disappointed by them. One trio that has proven to all be starters would be the Steelers trio. All three of them have shown that they can work together, so I don't think you should have too much worry about them. Keep an eye on Deontay in case he fights any injuries again. And then in Tampa, it's pretty much the same as the Steelers, but a bit worse. I think that Godwin and Evans are still must starts and great flex plays or wide receiver too. But I think Antonio Brown should stay on your bench for the playoffs. I do not trust him. I do not think his production will be enough. And I think ESPN will still project him decently high points, but I do not think you should put him in there. I think you would bench him for people like Fulgham, Debo, and Marvin Jones, and they're much better plays. So QB wise, I think that most everyone has their QBs set in stone, and there are some that have confidence in, but some are worrisome. Derek Carr just had one of his worst games ever. I think he'll bounce back, and I still think he'll be a good playoff QB. Kyler Murray will definitely bounce back, so no worries about him. And I think Ryan Tannehill is set up for a dominant playoff performance, but him and Derrick Henry should dominate these playoffs. I am worried about Matt Ryan. He has a very hard playoff schedule, and especially with Julio's injury again, I think that he will maybe struggle. And then Tom Brady, who has shown inconsistencies in the past, he could let you down. He could boom. He could win you the team, or he could lose it. And then Jared Goff, I think his ceiling is very low. He never really popped off too much. So, and also, if you're starting Carson Wentz, then what is wrong with you? I think we're going to move on now to some notable games. We changed it up a bit from last week. Instead of covering every game in depth, we're just going to cover a couple of them that were really close, really good games. So first up, the best game, I think, of the week is the Patriots and Cardinals. The Pats win on a game winner from Nick Folk's foot, 20-17.
I mean, yeah, I think Kyler's shoulder, it's still affecting him. It might not be in pain, but I feel like he's running a little bit like worried because he doesn't want to re-injure it. But I mean, it was a pretty bad game from him.
I disagree. I don't think Kyler's shoulder was that big a deal. I think he still made some good passes. I think the Cardinals just didn't play well overall. They just had one of those funky games, and a lot of times you see that against the Patriots. The Patriots can just do that to great teams. They just make them not play well, and that's what they did.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could happen. I mean, Kyler Murray just he doesn't look like himself. I mean, you see him like making all these cool plays on the ground with his feet. He just isn't doing them anymore. 34 pass attempts, completes 23 of them, 170 yards, and gets picked, no touchdowns. I mean, I don't really see like the Kyler Murray we usually know. This Cardinal teams is really slacking, and I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs anymore.
Oh, Cardinals will still be in the playoffs. I can guarantee you that one.
You
Yes,
really think
Kyler
that?
Murray will bounce back. They will be.
They're 6-5. They're in one of the toughest
Nah, they
divisions
will
in
bounce back.
football.
All three of those NFC West teams are making it, except the 49ers are not, but the rest of those three are making it. So I can guarantee you that.
They got winnable games. They're playing the Rams next, but then the Giants, Eagles, and then the Niners
They'll
and the
bounce
Rams
back
again.
against the
So
Rams.
they're
They'll
gonna
bounce
run.
back against the Rams.
They can run the table.
All
Yeah, they
right,
can run the
all
table.
right.
They can run the table. Okay.
Move on. Another great game. Dynamic duo, Patrick Mahomes and Kyrie.
Oh, whoa.
Hmm?
Wait, I need to say
Yeah,
something real quick for the Patriots Cardinals game. The last second hit on Cam Newton that Isaiah Simmons did. Do you think that was a fair call, or do you think the Cardinals got screwed over by that?
It depends. And honestly, that call is a player call. The NFL, now that Cam Newton's a Patriot, he gets protected more. Um, Kyler Murray would have gotten that call, but there is certain QBs in the league who wouldn't have gotten that call. But Cam and Kyler both would have, so I agree with the call.
Yeah, I mean like people have been calling the NFL like how apparently refs, don't call flags against certain QBs, but then when against like Tom Brady, calling every flag. So I think the refs kind of had to call that one there.
Yeah, he did say in an interview that his first intention was to flop, but then the hit was kind of surprised him. So maybe it wasn't a flop. Who knows?
All right, back to the Chiefs and Buccaneers. Chiefs take out the Buccaneers 27-24. Game looks closer than it really was. I think the Chiefs just too conservative. Too conservative. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I was kind of hoping the Chiefs would drop like 100, but then they scored what 17 in the first quarter and then 10 over the next three. Like, what are you doing? But I guess they just try to finish the game as quick as possible.
You really couldn't stop them. I mean, if you think about it, this is the same problem the Lions have. This is the same problem a lot of teams have. They go up in the first half and then they play conservative. I mean, if you have Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, you should never play conservative. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't really know. I mean, this might cost them in the future.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. As an owner and fantasy of both Mahomes and Tyreek, I was loving this game. He had 40 points in the first quarter. It was beautiful. I was a happy human being that day. Bucks wise, I think they have too many offensive weapons, and I'm gonna say that. I think they spend too much time getting play calls for certain players rather than playing play calls to win the game. They'll
Yeah,
try to set up someone rather than just win the game.
yeah, it seems like that. It just feels like they don't have any kind of rhythm.
Yeah, I agree. They eventually set into the rhythm, which is why they came back in this game, but they got down early because they just weren't forcing the ball and wasn't good offensive play call.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have too many weapons because you're like, that person can do that, that person can do that. Like you just try to like force it in, but sometimes like you see Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller is a no one compared to all these big names, but Tom Brady likes to find him. So like, I think Tom Brady just needs to find the receivers he wants to find. It doesn't matter if Chris Godwin or Mike Evans is like a big receiver. Whatever he wants to find, he needs to find.
Okay, moving on. Rams and 49ers. 23-20. 49ers take the win.
I mean, damn, I had the Rams winning the division, but how are you gonna lose to the 49ers?
Well, do you think maybe Mostert's and Sherman's return was something that was influential in this win?
I mean,
I
I
think
think
Sherman more so than Mostert, to be
yeah,
honest.
Yeah, the Rams are just inconsistent in general. I mean, they lose to like I don't know. They lose winnable games and they win games that they shouldn't be able to win, and it's just crazy for them. I don't really think like I don't know how this team made the playoff or Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah, honestly, you chalk this one up to just being a divisional battle. when it comes down to it, the divisional battles are always closer than they should be just because the teams know each other so well. They know all the ins and out of every team. So I think the 49ers they play the Rams so much that they know what's going on.
Chargers, Bills, 27-17. Bills take the win. Should Anthony Lynn for the Chargers be fired?
No.
No.
Nope.
The Bills are
I
a
think
good
they
team.
I don't think it's over the whole year, and Anthony Lynn has been not winning games. They've been close, and I think he will break over that hump next year if they have a good draft. I think they should keep him for one more.
Okay. Yeah, they were 3 of 16 on third down, so definitely the play calling needs to get better. But I think, I think they're a good team with great potential. And you see this problem with Baker Mayfield. I mean, he went to so many coaches. Like, it just ruins a quarterback's career if you keep on putting
No, I
him through
think Baker's
coaches.
just trash.
Yeah,
Okay,
Baker.
maybe that.
To be fair, we're
Yeah,
both enemies
He's
of
too
the
hyped
Browns
up.
and are biased, but yeah, Baker's trash.
okay. That's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
All right, I
Yeah.
think we are gonna move on, talking a little more fantasy before we go on to our hot takes. Top 7 running backs we have the rest of the season, and I'm looking right now at our list. The number one, everyone agrees, Derrick Henry. He's an absolute tank. He gets 20 plus guaranteed carries a game. His schedule is easy. If you have this guy on your team, you are sitting pretty for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the playoff schedule is probably, or not even the playoffs, like the rest of the schedule: Cleveland, Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay, and Houston. Like the Titans run the ball a lot, even against like any team, and these run defenses are absolute trash. So like, dude is gonna be put up so many points.
Yeah. Whoever has him is lucky, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now, number 2, we actually, surprising, all have a different player. Unlike our wide receiver list last week, we all have a different player. For me, it was Christian McCaffrey. I think when he returns to injury, he has a bye week to recover. I expect him to go back right to his dynamic pass catching, basically the entire Carolina offense. I think Christian McCaffrey will be dominant. You had someone different.
I have Dalvin Cook. I think that the volume he gets, and he's on the Vikings offense, and they're a very good passing offense as well. But I think Dalvin Cook is the best running back right now in the NFL, besides Derrick Henry. That's what I think.
I mean, I have Eckler actually up here. I just think the Chargers with Herbert throwing the ball, defenses are very spread out, and I mean Herbert has a cannon, and I just felt like even though CMC would come back, I just felt like it was too late in the year. Like if you have CMC, the chances are you probably drafted him pretty high, and your season's probably already maybe not done, but you're close to being done.
Yeah, and Eckler has got I think 11 receptions in
Yeah,
a lot of
But
games.
Gomzi, you don't even have Christian McCaffrey in your top 7, man.
yeah.
I mean,
I
how
don't
can
think.
you do that?
Yeah, I
I
have him
feel
at
like
four.
he might be a little bit more limited coming off of 2 injuries.
Maybe,
I don't know. After that first,
maybe
after that first,
they'll save him, but I think he's gonna go right back to dominance.
A
All right,
person I have on my list that I don't see on you guys, your guys, is Sanders. I have him at 3. I just think
Miles Sanders.
nah.
Hurts is coming
The
back.
Eagles are bad.
I just think Hurts is gonna start, and with the rookie, I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of checkdowns, a lot of PPR points. So I
That
have him pretty high up.
could be
That's a
the
bit of a
case,
reach.
but I do not think so. I think the Eagles are bad. I don't know. Maybe they'll start tanking. I don't know, but because I don't think Jalen Hurts is a QB you can trust in the future either. But
But
yeah.
I will give you this. I think the Eagles' offense is dependent on Miles Sanders in the run game. So if you can get that going, then the whole offense can get going.
All right, quickly here. The rest of our lists are very similar. Before we move on to hot takes, we all have Eckler, of course. We have Kamara. He's a little bit lower than he would be a couple weeks ago, just because of Drew Brees, and then James Robinson and Nick Chubb. Those are the guys. Those are the guys you want on your team.
I just noticed that you guys had Cook pretty high up. I mean, that schedule is, and that's a hard schedule. Some of their games are Tampa Bay, Chicago, and the Saints. I mean, It's the
Yeah, but
Vikings,
I think we
and they've
got better
struggled.
pass defenses than run defenses, in my opinion. So I
Yeah,
mean, if the pass defense doesn't work, then they can
I
run.
mean,
Oh, that's true, but I don't
and
know.
his volume is so high that I just don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna flop very often. I think he's just that consistent. His floor is too high to put him low on the list. All right, do you want to take us through hot takes before we wrap up here?
All right, COVID. Will the NFL have to add another week, or will they cancel the season? What do you guys think?
They're adding a week. I
I don't. I don't think
I
so.
I think I was reading somewhere that they were planning on making a week 18 if the Steelers and Ravens wouldn't happen, but I guess they decided to push it back. But I think if we have another outbreak that pushes games back a lot, then I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have a week 18.
Yeah. I think one more outbreak and they may have it 18, but I think they're really gonna push for just to get through it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Get through it and try their best. And then maybe my idea would be give everyone like 2 full weeks off before playoffs, just to let everyone get healthy. That would be my idea, maybe.
Yeah. I think Mopsy added this one. Should Sarah Fuller have a
I
99 secret card in
That
Madden?
was Mac. I honestly,
yeah.
I think that was the plan. I actually think the plan was to squib kick it because
That was a good pick. I've seen so many comments like, "Oh, she just kicked it 20 yards. She's not that
yeah,
good." I mean,
because
the whole point was there. I mean, she can't be that bad.
It's
yeah,
a
yeah. I
beautiful
mean,
it's a
the
beautiful
thing,
kick for squib,
Yeah, that's a good squib kick. It's a
yeah,
squib kick. Yeah, exactly. I don't
like
understand something.
because I feel like the coaches were like, well, first of all, Vanderbilt football is trash. Like
Yeah.
they're terrible. She literally had one.
Yeah.
They lost what 47-0 or something. Like, what are you trying to do, bro? But
Yeah.
I feel like the coaches were like, just don't kick the ball out of bounds. So then they just like squib kicked it or something.
Yeah, she I think Madden should maybe, you know how they put like Giannis in KO? Maybe they'll put her in KO.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
The chances of having Giannis on your team was so low, man.
Yeah.
I might try for the WNBA a couple years.
All right, we're gonna move ahead to alternate jerseys. Should the NFL have alternate jerseys? Should they be allowed more uniforms, more helmets? Like maybe like the NBA?
I
Who
legit
would
don't
be
see why.
against that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't
They
understand
should.
why.
They
Who would
should.
oppose that other than Roger
Like
Goodell?
like you're telling me people on the internet who like make no money like can make up concepts and like you
Exactly.
can't like there's so many dope concepts and
Yeah. NFL should at least have city uniform. I mean, they
and
have their color rush that they wear
Color
Yeah.
for
rush.
the
Exactly.
year.
The only-
colors look so weird. Like the Seahawks are all lime green with a blue helmet. The Bengals are all white with a orange helmet.
The
Like at least
helmets
have
get
like
you.
have it all in one. That looks so dope.
I don't get why the one helmet rule is a thing, because it's not in college either. In college, NFL has more money than
If
college football too, so it makes
yeah,
no sense.
if anything, more jersey would be more revenue. Like you'd want to have more
Exactly.
jerseys. I would
Yes,
buy like
exactly.
city if it was like a city version of a
Yeah,
jersey.
I think they'd make a ton of sales off city jerseys.
What do you guys think about these like NBA NFL swaps or the MLB
Yeah,
NFL
That
exactly.
swaps?
look
You think we
cool.
Those
should do
are
that?
awesome. I don't know if
Yeah,
they
those are
can,
amazing.
But yeah, the trademarks might be a little hard.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
but
I
just
mean,
to have
yeah.
city, and then like NFL teams would be left out that don't have NBA and so
Yeah,
forth.
that would be a little.
But yeah, I think city uniforms for the NFL, they should really just
They
get
need
on
to,
that.
They need to. They need to.
I
Exactly.
don't see anyone who would oppose that at all. It doesn't make any sense.
Last question. We're gonna have kind of like a meme question type. Who would you rather have on your team, Rodrigo Hot Rod Blankenship or Young Ho the Goat Koo?
Cool, man. Dude put up 21 points for my team. He's like
Give
my
me,
I would
high
say
scorer.
Blankenship. I think me and Max say Blankenship here,
give
right?
me Rodrigo, man.
I'm
Give me
thinking Cool.
Rodrigo.
Bro,
Give me
he's
Why
carried
not
me too far.
Rodrigo?
Because Rodrigo put up 2 points against me.
You think about the Colts. The Colts defense is trash. The Colts offense is trash, but Rodrigo's amazing. That was a joke, obviously, but Rodrigo's just amazing.
I'm not talking about even fantasy. I'm just talking about in
Yeah,
general.
I'm just saying.
If I was a
Nah,
fan,
I'll take Coot still, bro. Dude's
I
got a
want
cannon.
Rodrigo.
Is Koo the one that cost the Chargers their season a couple years ago? I'm pretty sure that was the same guy. I'm just saying. Rodrigo hasn't cost anyone their season.
I mean, he did play at Georgia, and like I think they got blown out a couple times.
I'd
I
like
mean,
to ask
alright,
us just
that's
one more
college.
question, actually, before we go. And
Okay.
it's kind of, I mean, we know the answer's not true, but do you think the NFL favors good teams? The Broncos, they had to play their game with no quarterback on the
No,
roster.
I think
And the
the I think
Ravens game is continued to move no matter what.
I think the logic behind that was that the Broncos, it was one positive and a bunch of close contacts, while the Ravens was like multiple. Like I think the NFL believed that the Ravens hadn't had it contained yet, while the Broncos did have it contained.
Yeah.
That's definitely the case, and it was just kind of a hypothetical.
One more question. I'd like to add on to that question. Do you think you could have done better than Hinton in that game?
No.
No,
I
I
never
mean my
played
dude,
football in my life.
yeah, like
He did have a completion. That's more than completion that I would have, but
To
I mean it
be
was a
fair,
screen
Hinton
pass, but
played
still,
better than Wentz did, so
I don't know why they didn't run screens or anything.
they
Maybe
did.
get him going a
His
little
one
bit.
completion
They
was a
did?
screen.
Oh my god, just one completion.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. One of his interceptions,
I mean they
he
got
had a
3
pretty good
points
grip on
somehow.
the
I'm not
ball.
sure how, but at least they got 3 points.
Pretty ran the ball.
Yeah, he was running the ball.
The Broncos
But
running
yeah,
back suck.
he's still better
Why'd
than
they have to
Carson
sign
Wentz.
Melvin Gordon?
He did actually. He outscored Derek Carr. He did better than Derek Carr did. So,
Yeah, poor Eric.
Yeah.
At least Eric was able to clutch up.
alrighty. I think that is all the time we have for today. That has been the 21 Yard Line podcast. I think we're a little longer than 20 minutes, but that's all right. You guys just get the extra bonus time. We will see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know how you like the new format. We didn't take you guys through every game in depth. Let us know if you'd like to see every game or if you'd rather just have the spotlight games. All right, see you next
See you
time.
guys.
All right. See you. Bye bye.